Now, hello everybody. I hope you're all very well. So this video is the first in a series of videos I'm going to record in preparation for the studied drama section of the junior cycle exam. As you know, I'm no longer working with the Institute. I'm with Grind 360 now, and we're not running out our junior cycle material until after Christmas. But this should give you a sense of the kind of material that we're going to have on the platform for junior cycle when it's up and running. Now, the purpose of this series of videos is to really get you to really have a good sense of what you need to know about your study drama, and to give you a sense of how to prepare for the particular types of questions that you can expect to be on your paper. So that's what this video is about. There's going to be, as I said, a series of these videos. I'm going to try and keep them short, maybe 10 to 15 minutes each one. And the purpose is to try and show you what to expect in terms of the questions before we then embark on our kind of little odyssey of preparing a particular play. So you can see on the screen there that there are certain things we do know about study drama. We do know that there is an expectation in the curriculum that you will have studied 2 plays over the course of your second and third year preparation. If you're doing higher level, and these videos are designed for higher level people, Shakespeare is compulsory. There is a prescribed list of texts, multiple plays. On that prescribed list, there are 5 Shakespeare plays: Twelfth Night, As You Like It, Much Ado About Nothing, Julius Caesar, and The Merchant of Venice. And it's very important that you understand that The Merchant of Venice is the play that I'm going to be looking at most in these classes. I'm going to try, a lot of you are doing The Merchant of Venice. I've done a little bit of research, and I've spoken to a lot of parents who are looking for me to do some content for English, and it seems that The Merchant of Venice is being widely studied. So in these videos, I'm going to do loads of kind of breakdown of key scenes in The Merchant of Venice, but I will also deal with aspects of the other plays where I get feedback from people saying, okay, Paul, I watched some of that, it's useful. Can you do a similar video on, say, Twelfth Night, or Much Ado About Nothing, or Julius Caesar, whatever, okay, as you like it. So you just let me know if you find this stuff useful, and I will certainly try to facilitate you as often as I possibly can. These videos will be, I'm posting them initially on YouTube, but then the full spectrum of junior cycle preparation videos, which will look at all aspects of the course, looking at past examination questions, sample answers, how to write answers, time management, poetry, fiction, drama and film. All that stuff will be on the Grind 360 platform. But I'm going to put plenty up on YouTube as well, because, well, let's face it, some of you might find that you need a little bit of extra help with English. So what do we know about study drama, besides the fact that there are there's an expectation that you'll study 2 plays, that Shakespeare is compulsory, that there's a prescribed list. But we also know that there's no guarantee study drama will be examined. Okay? So as I said, there's 4 areas of junior cycle English which are called the studied texts: drama, poetry, fiction and film. And in any given year, one of them might not be on the paper. Now, the last 2 exams, they've kind of examined them all, because they've asked questions, we'll see them in a minute, where you could answer on drama or fiction, depending on what you wanted to do. But there's no guarantee that study drama will be on. That's something that you need to be aware of. And I'll just say this really, really quickly. That doesn't mean that it's a waste of time reading your plays. We're supposed to be producing an educated, generations of educated young people. That's the aim. The aim is that you will read these plays and read these books and read these poems and become more aware, more rounded. That you'll become exposed to, different experiences of life. That maybe your attitudes and your opinions might be challenged as you read. That's called being an educated person. So my aim here is to try and make this stuff in some way interesting, while being fully aware of the fact that you just want to, get your exams done, do as best you can, and move on with your life. I get that totally. Okay. So again, as I said, this is the first of a series of videos. I will primarily be looking at the Merchant of Venice as my kind of core play, because that's the one that the vast majority of students are studying. But as I said, I can do material on other plays as we go through the year. I'm going to try to be as reactive as possible where I get some feedback from you. It's interesting to note that the junior cycle exam has been examined only 6 times since the English paper was introduced in 2017, and that study drama has come up on every single exam. Now, it's come up in kind of different ways. They're always trying to make things slightly interesting. So, for example, in 2024, the most recent exam, study drama came up in question 3 and question 4. Question 3 was worth 20 marks. Question 4 was worth 25 marks. So, in total, that's a big chunk of marks. In total, 45 marks out of 180 on the exam. So study drama was given a significant allocation of marks, but when you break the question down, you'll see it wasn't that difficult at all. The first question was if you were directing a Shakespearean play. Now, that idea of directing a play, that's something that you need to be prepared for, okay? What a director does and what the role of a director is. Would you use traditional clothes? There were 2 pictures given. I've done this, the answer to this question on a separate video, you'll see. Or modern clothes for the actors' costumes. Give 2 reasons for your answer. And the reason they asked for 2 reasons is because they wanted 2 paragraphs there in that particular task. The second one was name a character from a Shakespearean play you've studied. Now there you see, it's specifically mentioned a Shakespearean play. So this is one of the questions I get asked. Is it possible that you could be allowed to answer on, 12 Angry Men or whatever other play that you might be studying for your besides your Shakespearean one? It is possible that they just ask you about a play you've studied. This one, they specifically said Shakespearean play. Okay, so you have to have your Shakespearean play ready. That's the key thing. But you can have another play, and you will have another play done. Some of your teachers might only be doing like scenes from a play. That's fine. That's within the remit of the curriculum. But they were saying, name a character from a Shakespearean play. Make one suggestion, and again, interestingly, it was one suggestion for this character's costume that you think would reflect something important about this character to the audience. See that there? Reflect something important about the character. Now, that's a difficult question for most students, believe it or not. I think it's easy peasy lemon squeezy, but I've been doing this for a really long time, and I know junior cycle students, and I know that most of them would find that the wording there quite difficult. Okay, how would you connect the clothes a person is wearing, a character is wearing, to the type of person that they are? Now, again, I've done a sample answer on that. We'll do that in a separate video. So you can see it was a character question. They said 1. So that the hint there is, this is 2. So we're talking about 2 paragraphs. This is 1. So we're talking about 1 paragraph. So for the 20 marks there, to get the job done, you have to write 3 paragraphs. So it's not the case, just so you know, you may have been told this by your teacher, that you have to write a paragraph for every 5 marks available in the junior cycle. That is an aspiration. It is an aspiration that I had one student last year out of a class of 21 who achieved a distinction, which I was delighted with. Well done. Now he was like monstrously hungry, and he would write a paragraph every 5 marks available, and his time management was incredible. But he was a very unusual student. There you had an instruction, 2 reasons, 1 suggestion. So you're looking for a point each. But what you can see there, the crucial point is that in the first question, you didn't necessarily need to refer to your studied play to answer that question. Okay? If you were directing a play, would you use traditional clothes? But if you're talking about a play, the more specific you are in your answer, the better off you are. And therefore, it would be a good idea to name the specific play you're studying, even though that question doesn't ask you to do that. It does here. Okay, it does in the second one. In B, it says name the character from a particular play. The fourth question in last year's exam also was on study drama, but it said name a play or novel. Now see the way it says a play there. So it doesn't specify that it has to be the same play as the one that you've dealt with in question 3. So that's where, if you wanted to talk about your other play that you've studied, if you really liked it, I don't know, is Blood Brothers still on? I always do 12 Angry Men when it's on. But whatever the play is that you've done other than your Shakespearean play, you could write about it there. Describe one key moment, and again, look, one key moment when a strong relationship is apparent between 2 characters. And again, that gives you a hint at the type of thing you have to have ready. Now, I'll talk you through this in a separate video. But for study drama, You want to have one key character ready, and you want to be able to talk about that character's relationships. One relationship, I always think, which will be a conflict-based relationship, and then one relationship that will be more loving-based relationship. So I think that's good advice, and I'll certainly be looking at that when I particularly look at Shylock in The Merchant of Venice and his relationship with Antonio and the Venetian state as a whole, but also his relationship with his daughter Jessica, which I think is an important aspect of his character. So that is interesting, because that asked for a key moment, one key moment, but it was worth 25 marks. Now that's a big chunk of marks, and certainly you're going to have to write more than one paragraph there. So that's a question that you would challenge most students. I have written a sample answer on that already on The Merchant of Venice, and I'll show it to you in a later video. But you can see there that those questions were asking about characters, and it was a character. That's what they were looking for. A character, a character. So here you could have written about your novel if you wanted to. You could have written about a separate play if you wanted to. But if you had your Shakespearean play really well prepared, you could have used it to answer this question, and this question. As I said, 45 of the 180 marks available. So, challenging enough section in last year's exam. In 2023, there was a 35 mark allocation of marks for study drama. And the question was, following your study of English for junior cycle, you've been asked to give a talk to a group of young people, a group of young readers, about the art of good storytelling. Write the text of the talk you would deliver discussing at least 3 aspects of the art of good storytelling in either the prescribed Shakespearean play or one of the novels that you have studied. So again, there you had the choice between doing drama or doing fiction, which I thought was nice. I thought it was really fair, allowing students to make that choice. But again, you can see it specifically refers to the Shakespearean play in the drama part of the question. And it specifically mentions a number of points they want you to develop. Now there's 35 marks going. That's a big chunk of marks. I don't think anybody's going to get 7 paragraphs out of that, but certainly 5 would be ideal. Okay, and again, I've written an answer to that on The Merchant of Venice, which I will show you in a later video. But the core of the question was actually your ability to understand what this phrase means. And for me, if I ask the vast majority of junior cycle students to tell me, features of good storytelling, they find that really, really difficult. Now, features of good storytelling, I'm conscious of the fact that I don't want this video to be too long. Features of good storytelling include interesting characterization, setting description, an engaging opening and a satisfactory or memorable conclusion. So there's the structure of the play or the story. Whether or not the themes that are being addressed are universal and therefore relatable, no matter who you are, where you are, or when you are. And of course, there's always room in good storytelling to talk about the use of language and imagery. Now that was a question where if you had written a paragraph or even 2 on the effective use of characterization in your play, on how your play helps you understand a world that's different from your own or similar to your own, how the opening scene maybe, or the opening sequence is really engaging and draws the audience in, or how the ending maybe has a plot twist, think about The Merchant of Venice, which is surprising and changes expectations, maintaining the audience's interest and creating a sense of drama. Contains themes such as, think of Merchant of Venice, such as identity, prejudice, love, justice, that are utterly relatable in the modern world. Or a play in which there are examples, and I'll show you these as we go through the play, examples of imagery, metaphors, rhetorical techniques that make the language powerful. Really, really, really straightforward question. But again, straightforward for me, Mr. Old Man, how are you? who like does this for a living. But for a lot of junior cycle students, very, very, very difficult. So you're seeing how, it's really difficult to get a higher merit, never mind a distinction in the junior cycle. And you can see why, because the vast majority of students just aren't able for these questions. And I'm going to hopefully, help you prepare for them. I'm not going to spend too much more time because I want these videos to be short enough, but I just want to show you the other questions that were asked on study drama in the other years. So we can see here in 2022, whether it is a book we have read or a play. So once again, there's that distinction, a book or a play. Okay, so there's a pattern there, studied fiction, studied drama. Good texts can have a long-lasting effect on the thoughts and feelings of a reader or viewer. With reference to, and again, look specifically, they're being very specific, at least 2 key moments in a 25-mark question from either novel or a play. There we go again, okay? Or explain how the novel or play had a long-lasting effect on your thoughts and feelings. Now that's a specific question about the thematic concerns addressed in the play. But it also allows you to write about the characters and whether or not their story was involving or moving or interesting or, whatever else you want to say about the characters. And it also allows you to talk about the setting and whether that setting was in some way memorable, especially in terms of I don't mean the setting as in the way it's set on stage, I mean the world being portrayed. And whether or not that rang bells with you or resonated with you or made you, more appreciative of the world you live in, or maybe more aware of the dangers of human behaviour and of our shared world. So there was loads of things to say there. 25 marks, you're probably talking about 3 to 4 paragraphs for a very good answer. Certainly not more than that. 5 paragraphs would be super. But again, with time management issues, and I'll do a separate video on time management, with time management issues, these things can be challenging to write much more than that. So that was a lovely, lovely, lovely question. But again, 2 key moments. Here, you're talking about aspects of good storytelling. Here, you're talking about an interesting character and a relationship the character has. In 2019, here we go, 2019, by creating characters, and there's characterization again, that express strong views, playwrights can heighten the drama in plays. With reference to a Shakespearean, and here it was, or non-Shakespearean play. So there is precedent for it, guys. There's precedent for it that they could allow you to write about your secondary play. See, for me, we know it's possible they could ask you to write about your Shakespearean play. So why would you prepare your other play in great detail? I think that's making work for yourself. Anyway, I look forward to your feedback on that. Outline a key moment when a character, so it's again a key moment, when a character expresses a strong view, and explain how this heightens the drama of the play. Now, folks, the vast majority of students would be able to do that part. This is a 40-mark allocation. And the vast majority of students, and it doesn't specify what's the breakdown between A and B. We'll talk about that in a second. But this part here, see that there? That requires you just to do summary. And most of you are well able to do that without much help, okay? To do your study and be able to describe what happens in a scene when a character, gives a passionate speech. But this instruction here, God damn it, sorry. This instruction here is, for many students, really difficult because it requires higher order critical thinking. This is a piece of analysis that's required. And again, the vast majority of candidates find an analytical work difficult. And without laboring the point too much, I'm going to work on that as we go through the year, which I'm going to, again, work on showing you how to do that. And then part B, if you were to stage the key moment you have chosen. So it's important to think about that possibility that you could be asked to talk about how you would stage a scene, in other words, put it on stage. explain, and again it says 2 things you would do in order to heighten the dramatic experience. Now again, that's a lovely, lovely, lovely wording that most students would find very difficult for the audience. And you have to refer to, it says here, sorry for messing around with the colours, 2 aspects of performance and or stagecraft. Now, as we go through Merchant, and I'm going to go through it in great detail, you'll see that I'm going to come back to these questions over and over and over again and show you, okay, that's what they had in mind when they asked that question. This is what stagecraft means. This is what you could say about performance. But if they're asking about performance, I'm just conscious of time. Yeah, I'm way over time here. But if they're asking about performance, they really are looking at, they're needing you to talk about things like tone of voice, body position on stage, movements, physical gestures, facial expressions, all those kinds of things. Okay. 2018, conflict is a theme. Conflict is at the center of all drama. From a prescribed, again, look, Shakespearean play. So again, very important that you get that. Select 2 moments, again, 2 moments, and this is a 45 mark question. That where there is conflict. Discuss how this conflict contributes to making those moments dramatic. And again, that's not asking you just to describe those moments. It's asking you to discuss how the conflict makes them dramatic. That's higher order thinking. And when it says support your response with reference to your chosen moments, of course, that means put quotation in. And we're going to talk about key quotes again as we go through the year. Choose one of the moments of conflict, this is part B, that you discussed in A. In your view, was the conflict resolved satisfactorily in the play? Not an easy question, but it's asking you to talk about the ending of the play. So what I'm trying to do is show you, okay, what are they asking about? Characterization, why the play is a good play, the good storytelling, an example of good storytelling. Certain themes, particularly conflict was mentioned. Key scenes in the play where we have a long-lasting kind of something happens which stays with the audience and communicates a particular insight into a theme or into, human nature, characterization, into a different world. Stagecraft, very important. And then in 2017, you had again a 45 mark allocation. So the first one was easy. Select again 1 character. So character, very important. From a Shakespearean play you've studied, and list 5 adjectives that identify this character's essential qualities. A lot of students would find that difficult to understand. All these, I've written answers to all of these, and I'll be showing them to you. Choose one of the qualities identified in the list above. Explain how at least 2 key moments, I'll explain why that's important in a moment. From the play, highlight this quality in your chosen character. Use your knowledge of the play to justify your viewpoints. That means use quotation. And then question 9, a film version has been made of a Shakespearean play you've studied. Again, it's the Shakespearean play they want. I should have mentioned that a few seconds ago. So the Shakespearean play, only once of 6 times when drama came up did you have the option of not doing the Shakespearean play. What would you include on the poster advertising the film to represent what you think is important in the play? And again, interesting, what you think is important in the play and create a sense of anticipation for the audience. Not an easy question. Not an easy question at all. So study drama it's a section that has always been on the exam so far. It might not be on yours. The questions are challenging. There's no presupposition that just because you know the story of the play, you're going to do well. There's an expectation that you do know the story of the play, but then there are various things that you're going to have to be able to do when you're answering questions, such as discuss qualities of a particular character, relationships that character might have, key moments, whether the play has an engaging opening or conclusion, the themes that the play addresses, the setting, the world of that play. All of these things are important. When I said I'd come back to explain how at least 2 key moments from the play highlight the quality in your chosen character, that's because that's a 20 mark question. So they're saying at least 2 paragraphs but they're looking for maybe 3 there. Again, if it was my pal Johnny from last year, it might be 4. But for most of us, 2 will do if we do them really well. That might get us the 14 or 15 out of 20. That'll put us on the edge of a higher merit grade for the question. But 3, the third one, would really push you up if the quality is good. So that video's been too long. I failed in my first aim, which is to keep these short. I promise you that subsequent videos won't be as long. I don't know if anybody's going to watch these. I'm going to post them on YouTube now. I'm going to post a couple a week, and hopefully you might find them useful. So that's the introduction to study drama. And the next video that we see is going to be your introduction to The Merchant of Venice.